We've heard from a couple local Democrats on the Hill. Well, their campaign strategists, national Democrats, think they have a decent shot at taking the Speaker's gavel and control of the House in the upcoming midterm elections. And they think voters in the St. Louis suburbs might just help them do that. So much so, they threw down a gauntlet challenging Congresswoman Wagner this week to meet her voters face to face. Take a look at this sharply worded statement from the chair of the DCCC. Wagner is running scared, they say, and she should be, from tanking the economy, gutting Medicaid, and abandoning our veterans to making everything more expensive. They say she's broken her promises to Missourians, and it's going to cost Wagner her seat. Why are Democrats claiming that she's running scared? Well, one reason could be that she didn't show up here to this so-called town hall. Now, to be fair, she never agreed to show up. She didn't organize it. In fact, rather, it was hosted by her political opponents as an illustration to try and define or depict her as absentee. We're seeing that same tactic play out across the country, and we've seen reports from top national Republican strategists telling their GOP candidates steer clear of those kinds of open, risky forums. The question still rings true. Is Congresswoman Wagner available and accessible to her voters? What would it take for her to answer questions from the public or the press? She might tell you that the portrayals from Democrats aren't quite true. I don't know. I'd like to ask her. It is worth noting, it's been 962 days since she last agreed to take questions from this reporter. It was a few weeks after the Supreme Court reversed Roe v. Wade, so in a story about student loan debt forgiveness, where I was also quoting her Democratic opponent at the time, I asked her here about Missouri's abortion ban. Since then, her congressional communications staffer has declined at least 10 direct requests for interviews. Just to check that record, in the same time span, Republican Senator Eric Schmitt has been on this very program 10 times. Wagner's spokesman brushed off the DCCC's challenge, saying, quote, "She has handily beaten radically liberal DCCC candidates before and will do it again in 2026. Of course, that's only if she survives a primary challenge. My angle in all this, the same as this guy, Tim Russert's. You can't make tough decisions unless you answer tough questions. That's the opportunity this program will always provide to politicians willing to answer them. We're back in a moment.